Dropped the phone. Oh no, someone dropped the phone. All right, welcome y'all. What's up? How y'all doing? Good? Hey, welcome y'all to this year's first Call Westlands Comedy Showcase. I'm hyped that y'all are here. I'm hyped we have a good little turnout. I'm not gonna lie, trying to get people to show up to a comedy show in a lecture hall could be a tough sell. All right, so I'm glad y'all are here. All right, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird feeling for me because we got this weird ass projector in the background. Not ideal circumstances. Got more people coming in. This is hype. This is hype. And look, yeah, I've had 2 classes in this very room, and it's a weird feeling trying to get up here and trying to be funny in the same room where I've been lectured about slavery and the Holocaust. Guys, I don't care. I don't care if you. Here's the thing. I don't care if you laugh or not. It's my senior year. I'm almost out of here, all right? If the show goes bad, it's not going to go bad. The show's going to be great. But if the show goes bad, then it's okay. I don't care, all right? It's not going to. It's not going to, but it can. And that's all right. But it's not. It's not. All right? Look, I've bombed before. It was all right. I'll tell you all the bombing story right now. All right, look, I just spent the summer in LA. All right, had a lot of fun. When I was there, I got to do a few minutes at the Laugh Factory. All right, and if you're wondering how that went, I'm back here now. So, what does that tell you? Yeah, that day I'm a little too confident going into it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm a professional now. I'm all nonchalant. I'm gonna go to the Laugh Factory, do my 5 minutes, press all the Laugh Factory people, get out of there. Hell yeah, easy money. All right, no. All right, the stage guy texted me. He's like, look, all right, and instead of 5 minutes, you got kind of a long show tonight. Keep between 3.5. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'm a professional. I'll give you 3.5. Right down the middle. I'm a professional. That's how I do things. Then I get there, and I learned that same night, Dion Cole is doing comedy there. He was on Blackish, if y'all know that, and also Tony Rock is on the card that night. He's Chris Rock's less famous, but also very funny and very talented brother. And then there's fucking me. In over my head. All right. Now, the announcer guy, he's announcing my name. And I'm walking up to the stage. I'm trying to look a little bit like I belong here, but really I'm just trying so hard not to shit my pants. I'm walking up like this, doing like a cliche walk. This is how I walk home from dates, by the way. Just like up that hill. If only I could be shit walking up that hill. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. The first minute and a half of the show goes great. The first minute and a half is wonderful, just like sex with me. The first minute and a half is great, then the rest is bad. All right? And then, I get a little too confident. All right, fly a little too close to the sun. My dumb ass decides it would be a great idea to tell a dead dad joke. You would not believe how quiet a room full of 100 people could get in 10 seconds. And holy shit, did they stay that way. The next minute and a half, the next 2 minutes is the worst bomb I have ever experienced. And you know why it was so bad? Because the crowd was so nice. The crowd was so nice about it. I get off the stage, no one's applauding, no one's laughing. But it's just quiet enough for everyone to hear. A very elderly black lady who's sitting at the table next to the stage, she reaches over to give me a fist bump, and she goes, "You tried, baby." And then I go up to the balcony area, kind of where I was sitting, and then a very, very stereotypical Los Angeles looking Lululemon ass looking white lady, she stops me and goes, "I just want to say, you are so brave." Like, that just makes me feel like the ugly friend who posted a bikini photo and all the friends are in the comments like, "Girl, you're so brave, yes!" I don't care. You're quiet now, I don't care. All right, and
You're so brave!
Thank you. All right, yeah.
Excuse me? What was the dead dad joke?
What was the dead dad joke? Be good, you might hear it later. that couldn't have just heckled me like she just did? Like, you know how bad you have to do to bomb in front of a nice crowd? And you know, I keep watching the show. Dion Cole goes up right after me, kills. Tony Rock goes up right after him, kills. He kills so good, people are cheering his name when he comes off. And you know, you can probably imagine watching two comedians murder a room like that after you just bombed in that same room. That's like watching two people fuck your girlfriend better than you. Twice, back to back, consecutively. And then when you tried to fuck her, she gave you a fist bump and was like, you tried. All this happens, you know, I go back in the bathroom and it takes like 10 minutes just to look in the mirror. Does anything matter anymore? You ever had something really bad happen in your life, you look in the mirror and you're like, that didn't just happen. And you know, I finally exit the bathroom, I open the door, and then Tony Rock is standing right there. He's been waiting to use the bathroom. I am now standing face to face with one of my idols, having just held up the bathroom, and he knows I just freshly bombed. And you know, I want to seem at least a little bit cool to Tony. Look at me fucking saying his last name like as if I know. I don't fucking know. I want to seem at least a little bit cool to Tony Rock, so all I can think to do is I hold up my hand for a little fist bump, and I go, good job. Yeah, Ruben, Tony Rock really appreciates that you think he did a good job. Huh? I'll tell you. If you're wondering, he did fist bump me, but he said absolutely nothing. He just looks me up and down, gives me the most reluctant fist bump you have ever seen, and then just scoots right past me into the bathroom and closes the door. And then that's when I start looking at the balcony and I wonder, is that balcony high enough to the point where I'll die if I jump off? Hey, look, we got a great show for y'all tonight. We got a lot of funny people here. All right, I'm really excited. It's gonna be great. Huh? It's not just me. Believe me, I fought for that and they wouldn't let me do it. All right? Sir, what's your name? What's your name? Aaron? Aaron? Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? I'm gonna be looking at you tonight. And not because I think you're cute, don't. All right? Look, it's not like that. It's not the person. It's just like I'm not in a place right now where I can, you know, have anything like that. I'm not saying you're not cute, but I'm just saying I won't be looking at you because you're cute. You know what I mean? Get over yourself, you son of a bitch. Anyway, I'm gonna be looking at you to make sure you're laughing. All right? And if you're not laughing the whole time, you and I are gonna have a problem. All right? That came off a little more threatening than I meant it to, and I'm sorry. I gotta host the rest of the show now. But laugh, motherfucker. All right? Huh? Yeah. All right, look. I gotta bring up the first comedian. I'm not professional, so I don't remember the name. Look, very first comedian for the night. Very funny individual. Very funny. Please welcome Ira Linietsky.
You pronounced my last name right. Okay, so I'd like to tell you the story of the first time I tried to flirt with a girl at a bar. It's a classic setup, I know. Flirting with girls is hard, but being a straight guy is one thing. Try being an autistic former gifted burnout with the social skills of one of the children of the corn. With her lesbianism 17 months ago, coming up on 18. I was really sheltered as a kid. Like if you asked me to name a slang term for vagina, I'd say birth canal. So, imagine me last year. I am a textbook baby gay with this exact haircut, never had a girlfriend before. This is my first time in an explicitly queer bar. This is my first time in a bar. This is my first time drinking. I've given in to the sheltered kid temptation I refer to as milestone bundling, and I was ready to bundle. My style at the time could be described as Target 2021 Pride Collection. Meets cliche cliche clothes that I bought after reading appreciation articles about them on AutoStraddle. So I have this brand spanking new flannel from Kohl's, but I have a femme and I don't know how to style it, so I tied it around my fucking shoulders like some lofty frat bro in a fucking John Hughes movie. So, armed with only this and a handful of outdated pop culture references, I cruised on up to the bar and I said, "Hey, barkeep." And she drawled, "First time here? What can I get you, kid?" And I said, "May I please have a sex on the beach?" Mind you, this was the first alcoholic drink I would have in my life. I had been waiting 5 whole years to live my favorite walks into a bar pun. So so she hands me the concoction, which I can already tell would be too strong for me. I scope out the room for any pretty girls within earshot, take a big old swig, and say, "No wonder you call this a sex on the beach. It's fucking close to water." And then I got this head rush and nearly fell off my And as I was struggling to regain my composure, I heard this soothing voice say, "Hey, are you all right?" And I looked up and I saw the most beautiful girl I had ever seen. She was a redhead, like Dana Scully, or like my mother, but I don't want to unpack that. Smile and freckles that I admit I started to count. It was like that scene from The Godfather where Michael meets that chick that later gets killed. She said, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I am all right, but you know what isn't all right? This drink. No wonder they called it sex on the beach." First time. "That's a good line," she said. "You must have practiced that a lot." "Thanks, I have." Then I figured I'd start to put the moves on. So I said, "Can I buy you a drink?" And she said, "Yeah, sure, thanks. My favorite drink is, yo, barkeep, 1 sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist of lime, please. Get it?" She's like, "Is that from Groundhog Day?" I'm like, "Yep." Are you a movie buff? A cinephile?" And she said, "Yeah, I love movies. I'm actually studying filmmaking." And so I asked her, "What kind of movies do you like?" And she says, "Lately I've been really getting into mumblecore. How about you?" And at this point I'm getting a little scared because a film student, maybe she'd be one of those people with a list of automatic red flag movies. Like, I had a friend tell me about a girl who ghosted her after she mentioned she liked Fight Club. Well, you're not supposed to talk about it. So I hedge my bets and say, "Oh, I love mumblecore. So many cool actors came out of that era." Just as a side note, I would later learn that mumblecore was a 2000s movement of low-budget slice-of-life indie movies, so just keep that in mind. So she asked me, "Really, who's your favorite mumblecore actor?" And I say, "Marlon Brando." And she broke out in this beautiful peal of laughter until she realized I wasn't joking. And then she said, "Oh, then what's your favorite Brando movie?" And there are so many Marlon Brando movies that are sort of like low-budget, disaffected youth, early career stuff that could be arguably described as proto-mumblecore, but I went with my gut. And you should know at this point, I know jack shit about any movies that your uncle wouldn't recognize. So I said, "Guys and Dolls." And she looked at me with this expression that I will carry to my grave. It was a mixture of amusement and begrudgingly affectionate pity with an undertone of outright disgust. And at this point, I realized with horror that maybe this whole time I had been hitting on a straight girl. This was a queer bar, but maybe she wandered away from someone's bachelorette party. So I thought, wait, what do you ask girls to figure out if they're sapphic? Hold on, I read something about this on the internet sometime before the pandemic. This should have been a red flag for me. I was researching basic lesbian culture because I found it neat. So I said, "Do you listen to Girl in Red?" She said, "Oh, that's a classic." And I said, girl in red? And she said, yeah, of course, what did you think? But it's been a while since I've heard that line. Honestly, could you think of anything older? And I took this as the perfect opportunity to recycle one of my old shit posts in casual conversation. So I said, I pray thee tell, art pleasing to thine ear, the verses of our scarlet balladeer. I am a pentameter, folks, I swear. And she looked at me and said, okay, let me humor you, kid. Can I buy you another drink? You've hardly touched that sex on the beach. And I said, yeah, sure, I'd like a strawberry daiquiri, please. At this point, you'll realize that I'll order even the grossest drink if it makes for a good joke setup. So I said, I actually wrote a triple limerick about strawberry daiquiris back when I was in high school. Do you want to hear it? She said, sure. I said, here goes. There once was a young man named Zachary who ordered a strawberry daiquiri. He had little doubt that it would cure his gout, for he'd been a victim of quackery. He said, Doc, my gout isn't clearing. I drink, the pain keeps on searing. Your boozy prescription gives me a conniption. I tell you, you're just profiteering. Said the quack, I admit I can't treat those bothersome pains in your feet. But corrupt as I seem, this ain't my crazy scheme. I work for the bar down the street. And she looked at me and said, Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, let's keep it going, y'all. Let's keep going for it. Let's go. I love that they told their story of the first time ever drinking. Do you want to hear my story of my first ever time drinking?
Yes.
Who said no, motherfucker? I will write such an angry SSC Anonymous post about it. Oh, and you are gonna feel bad. No, but my first ever time drinking, yeah, I'm running around. I'm like 9 or 10 years old, and yeah, my mom, she's drinking a big old glass of wine. She did that a lot. And I'm like, hey mom, can I have a sip of that? I want to try it. And then she gave me a sip. She's like, fine. And she gave me a sip, and I was like, oh man, because I'm 9 or 10, like I don't like wine yet, so I'm like, oh man, this is gross. Like, why would anyone drink this? And then my mom takes a big sip of the glass, and she's like, Ruben, when you get older, you're gonna need it. All right, look, are you already y'all's next comedian? I don't have a follow-up to that. I just wanted to say that. That's one thing, something I wanted you to know. You're doing a good job. It looks like you're laughing. All right, I'm gonna keep watching you. You are cute though. We could run away after this, but don't get any thoughts in your head just yet. All right. Hey, y'all ready to see y'all's next comedian? Y'all ready? All right. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going for my favorite name of the night, Jamie Clark. Jamie Clark. Let's go, Jamie.
So my first boyfriend is getting married in a couple months. It's really all right. We were kind of doomed from the start. We met in pep band at boarding school. Now I know what you're all thinking when I say I went to boarding school. You're thinking super preppy, high-end, daddy's money, classy. That was not us. We were an underfunded international school in the Midwest whose mascot was the color red. My senior year, I was a prefect. Now, a prefect is exactly like an RA, but under the pretense of unpaid child labor. I was basically a babysitter for boys my age in Richards Hall, one of the 2 boys' dorms on campus. I was meant to be a friend, resource, role model, snitch, you get the idea. One thing I learned being a prefect, though, is that boys are disgusting. I remember one night in particular, my friend comes running up the stairs and he goes, "Someone peed in the dryer." He was German, so it was more like, "Oh my God, someone peed in the dryer." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, someone pee-pee in the dragon. Our dorm supervisor, Mr. Carlson, was pissed. He sat us all down in the common room, stared us down like one of us had just killed his cat, and announced very solemnly, tonight, there was urine found in the laundry receptacle. Now, I don't know how much you know about teenage boys, but that's not the kind of thing you can say around them without eliciting a response. So you can see that we're laughing, and he goes, yes, I found it very funny when I had to go down there, bend over, insert myself in the machine, and wipe it all out. We were like, you're right, that's fucking hilarious. We were not allowed to do laundry for 1 week. We never did figure out who pissed in the dryer, but we always kind of assumed that it was someone from Glen Hall, the other boys' dorm on campus. Because the supervisor of Glen Hall was one Mrs. Kearns, who was an absolute menace. She would frequently encourage, to put it favorably, tomfoolery among the boys at Glen Hall, just for her own entertainment. Her favorite agent of chaos was a boy by the name of Patrick, who owned an infamous big titty anime girl body pillow. That was always just a little moist. It feels morally wrong to divulge in the specifics of what he did to that pillow after lights out, but every time I was near it, I swear I could hear the class of 2040 going, Father, where am I? Not good. The thing was a biohazard and everyone knew it. So flash forward a couple of months, there is an all-out war between the two boys' dorms. Glen Hall practically vandalizes our hallways and thinks they can get away with it, but we pursue them back to their home base, armed with nothing but testosterone and spite. And they're not expecting us to fight back, so we have the element of surprise on our side. After about 10 minutes of physical violence, we have them cornered. And we're winning. They're on the brink of surrender. Then, out of the shadows, comes a horror that will stop a World War II veteran dead in his tracks. Patrick, wielding his big titty anime girl body, releasing his spores, sending nearly grown men to their knees. So, the Geneva Protocol of 1925 prohibits the use of biological weapons in warfare. And to uphold this, one of my residents did the bravest thing I've ever seen a man do. He laid his hand on the pillow and snatched it from Patrick's grasp. And then we executed the most coordinated heist in human history. Now back in Richards Hall, we decide the perfect place to hide this biocontaminant where it will never see the light of day again. The attic, which is inaccessible to everyone unless you have a master key, which only Mr. Carlson has, and we figured he did not want to be letting on any of this. So we opted to hoist a really tiny kid up and out of a window to chuck the body pillow into the attic from the outside. And the deed was done. But Patrick was apparently nothing short of distraught over the loss of his friend. And Mrs. Kearns does not accept defeat. So, Glen Hall sent scouts.
Oh my god.
They come to, I know, right? They come to me, the responsible, honest, trustworthy prefect for information. Hey, so Mrs. Kearns says that we can't go